Alright. I guess we should address the elephant in the room here before we proceed. Many of you that are new to my channel may have the first reaction of, what the fuck, Tekking? Did you freaking kill somebody last night? Like, what the hell? People that have been watching my channel for a while now are probably just like, I wonder where he's going with this. I'm going to stick around to see where he's going with this. But unfortunately, no, I didn't do any major capital offense last night. At least I don't think so. And there's really no payoff. I got a new haircut. Yeah, and so this is just to prepare you for the big revealing of my new haircut. Because I know a lot of you otherwise would just be commenting, oh my god, Tekking got a new haircut. Oh my god, Tekking got a new haircut. Alright, you ready? Okay, here we go. It's hot as hell in that mask. Okay, there you go. So now you have something else to talk about other than the fact that I have a new haircut. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review Bleach chapter number 628. Alright, well, last chapter was a little bit lackluster. We didn't really get much more information added to the fact. We knew that Yuha was now in command of the Soul Palace, and he kind of was reshaping it to his own little liking, you know, having the Quincy City rise up from the Seirete and build his own little palace. But aside from that, we didn't get really much detail exactly what the full ramifications of that was. It was mostly just banter back and forth between Ichigo and the group, and the chapter ended with Ichigo's group arriving at the Soul Palace where the original Chrysalis Palace used to be, and it's now, you know, collapsed on the ground, completely frozen over in the Quincy's new empire. So this chapter starts off with Uehara's group emerging through their gate, and we don't know exactly where they are. We have, like, later on it's hinted that they are in the location that used to be Ichibe's palace, whereas Ichigo and his group were at the exact center where the Chrysalis Palace was, so they're a decent distance away from them, but that's not going to matter, and you'll see in a second. Oh my god! What the hell is all this crap? Well, Shinji, this is just a guess, but I would assume that Yuha used his new divine powers to reshape the Soul Palace to his like. No, Uehara. I'm talking about what is with this literal piece of crap that's lying on the ground directly in front of us. Alright, look, it's a note. Alright, hold on a second, guys. Let me see here. Welcome to the newly forged Soul Palace, you Shinigami heathen motherfuckers, from your new lord and kaiser, Yuha. Oh, and P.S., it's not going to be called the Soul Palace anymore. I'm still workshopping on a new title, but I think I'm going to go with the Quincy Multiplex Frat House Man Cave, sponsored by Mountain Dew. Alright, great. So now we have the literal holy land of the entire Shinigami that is now apparently sponsored by a citrus drink. Damn you, Yuha Bach, you son of a bitch! And honestly, guys, I'm a little bit disingenuous about exactly how Kubo chose to, take up a good chunk of this chapter with Shinji and Uehara's, reacting to the Soul Palace. And I understand it's a big shocker. You know, you're thinking of landing in, the holy land of your species, and you end up in this Quincy City. It's a little bit of a shocker. But the fact remains that this exact thing happened back in the Seirete. You shouldn't be shocked, like, holy shit, how did Yuha manage to do all of this? I don't know, the same way he managed to do it before. Like, you guys were living your lives absolutely normally, then all of a sudden the shadows started coming to life, and in a matter of seconds, the entire Seirete was warped and twisted into the Vandente. So, it shouldn't come as any shocker, like, you walk in on the Soul Palace and it's the same thing, and it's like, whoa! How the hell did he do this? I can understand getting pissed at Yuha for, warping the basic area where your god lived, to his own liking and shit like that. I mean, that's like if, I just go into Jerusalem and I decide, hey, you know what, let's make this whole thing just like a massive Walmart, okay? There you go. But yeah, they all figured out quite quickly exactly what was going on. Shunsui's the one that brings up the fact that all the buildings from the Vandente were risen up into the Soul Palace to make this new area, and Soifon's the one that brings up that the palace isn't there anymore because it used to be in the sky. Kind of a little bit confused of how how she would even know it used to be in the sky, because the Soul Palace isn't supposed to be a place that just any random captain can just enter. There have to be certain special conditions met, but maybe there was like literature or like drawings of what the Soul Palace looked like, so maybe that's how she knew that the Chrysalis Palace was supposed to be up there and it's not anymore. But anyway, we get the title page and a really cool full-page spread where we see the full ramifications of Yuha's redesign, and it actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. He took the 5 palaces, or palaces, I still don't know the plural of that, and he connected them all using an ice bridge, and then that all connects to the center where the Chrysalis Palace is, you know, currently landing on this icy terrain. And if you pan out and look at it, it's a massive 5-pointed star of the Quincy's, the one that we normally see that the like the Stern Ritters and shit wear, and that's the new layout of the Soul Palace. It's pretty cool to see and everything. I mean, it's kind of a design flaw when you really think about it, because from, you know, before, you know, it's kind of hard to get from one palace to another without, you know, just taking, I think the Soul Palace, how they did it was they had to launch you on like a freaking, you know, whack-a-mole game sort of deal, like a catapult you to the next palace. It seems a little bit safer now making with the land bridges, but you'd think that Yuha wouldn't want to do that because, oh, now they can easily traverse the area just over a land bridge that I created. But hey, I bet Yuha was thinking, hey, it looked cool, so let's go with that, right? So we get the title page, Bleach chapter 628, New World Orders. Oh, New World Orders? Okay, here's my New World Order. First one, no more licorice. I am done with that shit. I am tired of that, you know, alleged candy existing in this world. So yeah, if I ever become the supreme, you know, ruler of everything, if I'm in Yuha Box, you know, shoes, I'll be a pretty lenient ruler, but the first thing that's going is the freaking licorice. So we cut back over to Ichigo's group, who just emerged from the Garganta, and Yoruichi seems to have suppressed her anger a little bit. From the end of the last chapter, she was like gritting her teeth. She's like, that Yuha's gonna pay, that son of a bitch. But now she seems, you know, pretty chill with it, actually. She's just like, oh, okay, well, it was kind of lucky we were in the Garganta, otherwise we would have been sucked into this. It's at this exact moment that both Shiro and Yoruichi both detect each other's Ryatsu, and because, you know, brother and sister, I guess they might have a better idea of, you know, what the Ryatsu is, so they immediately figure out, oh, who is who, and we get a quick cut back over to Yushiro and Uruhara's group, who reacts, you know, like, oh, I can see Big Sister's Ryatsu, I'm gonna head over there. And this is the comedy part of the chapter, where we cut back over to Ichigo's group, because they have no idea that Yoruichi even had a brother. Hey, neither did we, up until he was one of those characters where we had no idea that Yoruichi had, like, we didn't really know much about her family, period, other than the fact they were a royal house. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, by the way, here's her brother, or whatever. So, yeah, Ichigo's kind of freaking out, a little bit over the top, really. He's just like, you had a little brother? Why am I the only one hearing about this now? And I don't know why he's going over the top like that. I mean, were you shocked when we found out Yoruichi had a brother? Like in chapter 605, I believe it was, when Yushiro first showed up, or 606, were you sitting on the edge of your seat like, holy shit, Yoruichi has a brother, it changes everything about this series? No, you weren't. It was just like a nice little quirk. It was just like, oh, okay, that character exists, whatever. I mean, it's because of him that I had to do all those freaking penalty games back in chapter 617, so, you know, it'd be cool if he could die in this chapter, you know, if I could have my Witch God Kubo, but, you know, whatever. Yoruichi's reaction to this is just like, what do you expect me to do? Tell you everything about my extended family? It's not like we're gonna get married or anything. Yoruichi X Ichigo fanfiction! Make it happen, people. Probably already exists in many forms, but make it happen even more. But the funny part is when Yorihime, Chad, Gonju, and Ichigo all try to figure out what Yoruichi's brother would look like, because they take all of Yoruichi's immense strength and her personality and put that in like a big muscular man's body. So imagine him basically yeah, okay, so I guess just take Buccaneer from Full Metal Alchemist and then have him do the fusion dance with Armstrong, also from Full Metal Alchemist, and then you get this thing. Kind of funny though. But it gets even more funny, and this is the part that actually made me chuckle a little bit, is that Yoruichi was like, oh, no, why are you imagining somebody like some hulkish brute like that? No, he's actually more, you know, closer in appearance to me. And then everyone just turns and just starts thinking like, what, is it gonna look like a freaking ninja cat? Ninja cat, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why, I just got that, I just found that really funny. Ninja cat. And if you're thinking it was really difficult to get that image, it really wasn't. Google has pretty much every cat-related picture known to man. Also available are Firefighter Cat and Samurai Cat. But then we cut back over to Yushiro, who I guess is just really excited to go see his sister, because once again, we don't really know how long those two have been separated. I mean, Yoruichi's been gone for like 100 years, but then, you know, after the whole thing with Aizen came into Revelation, Yoruichi just kind of was hanging out in Uehara's shop, and I think she made a couple trips to the Soul Society back and forth. I thought she was on good terms with everybody, so I don't see any reason why Yushiro wouldn't have seen Yoruichi up to this point, but I guess he hasn't. So he immediately just jumps off the platform, and I guess he plans on using the Ryatsu stepping platforms in order just to get to her really quickly using his Ho-Oh or whatever. And however, though, we have a problem because It appears I can't make platforms in the air. And we are currently suspended over an endless void stretching down to the Soul Society through 72 barriers at which I would to fall. The friction itself would rip my skin from my bones and pretty much atomize me. Oh well, I had a good life. Oh yes! Yeah, I was kidding earlier with the God Koopa, whatever, I'll take it. Yes! A little bit late on this, 11 chapters, just 11, but Yoshiro Shihoing falls to his bloody end in this chapter. That is absolutely beautiful. Hey, hold on, dumbass, I got you. Hey, Renji. Yeah? Go fuck yourself. Of course, it's not that simple. Nothing ever is. Renji manages to save the day and pull Yoshiro back up to the Soul Palace platform area, and that's when everyone realizes that they can't use the Ryatsu to make stepping stones, and you know how they normally do, they can fly through the air. Okay, a couple of flaws with this. See, okay, there seems to be a little bit of a dissonance in believing exactly how this works, how the Shinigami can fly, okay, because there's always that question, like, can they fly in the Seirete? You know, how does this work? Okay, first off, I should say, it's not flight. They're not, like, actually using their powers to, like, levitate themselves off the ground. What they're doing is because Shinigami have somewhat control over Ryatsu, not as much, or Reishi, I guess I should say, not much as the Quincy's do, because the Quincy's whole purpose, the whole, idea of their kind and species is to manipulate Reishi to their own will, but Shinigami can do it too, just not as well. They collect this reishi together to form little platforms that they can step on, and that's how they, jump through the air, and they can gain traction in the air and shit like that. It makes for some pretty cool gimmick when it comes to aerial battles and stuff like that. Now, this is supposed to be only in the world of the living, because then you can just, the world of the living is not made out of reishi, it's made out of matter. There still is reishi in the air, and you just have to gather it together to make a platform. I believe it was stated that you can't use that same technique in the Soul Society. That's why the Sokyoku has a bunch of those stairs. Why the fuck would the Sokyoku have stairs if Shinigami can just fly? And I don't believe at any time during the Soul Society arc we saw any Shinigami being able to fly, because if they would, I think Byakuya would have been, be able to kill Ichigo a lot easier. Mayuri didn't use it when he was getting pwned by, Uryu's Let's Steal. Kenpachi doesn't have really good control of his reishi anyway, but Shunsui didn't do it, Yamamoto didn't even do it. Nobody used any ability to show themselves able to fly in the air during the Soul Society arc, so it was apparent that they couldn't do that, because everything's made out of reishi, you can't make it in order to step on. So, I don't know, my question I guess I should say is, I don't know why Byakuya is acting like, we can't fly up here. What made you think you would? The Seirete is made of reishi and you can't do that, and up here you learn that it's made out of this super reishi, which should be even more difficult to control by that logic, and yeah, so the point of the matter is they can't just use their abilities to their full extent, because Yuha has basically twisted and messed around with the reishi up there to make it the Quincy's weapon, so the Shinigami can't use it. That's the point of the matter, but I guess I'm a little bit confused why they're shocked by this, because they shouldn't be. They should be a little bit shocked that Yuha can maybe bend the reishi to his own will, so they can't use it. Maybe they can't use Kido now. Maybe that's a good example. Maybe they can't use Flash Step or shit like that. That's a bigger deal, but their ability not being able to fly, that shouldn't factor into it, because you wouldn't have been able to do that anyway. But confronted with this information, everyone's kind of freaking out that, they have such a big disadvantage now against the Quincy's, until Shunsui steps up to the plate and kind of acts like the voice of reason. Kind of like, I don't know, a captain commander. There you go. I've started to notice that a little bit more now, that maybe Shunsui's abandoning more of his kind of laid-back, lazy attitude, and he's starting to take responsibility. He's starting to realize that he is he's the one in charge. He's the one that everyone's going to look to in order to, figure out a way to get out of this mess for the most part. So he really has to step up to the plate. So he's playing this cool, and he's just like, okay, everyone, just calm down, calm down. No, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it very much is in a lot of regards, but not in every regard. He mentions that he can still sense, Ichigo's Ryatsu in the distance, so they know he's okay, although they cannot sense the Soul King's Ryatsu, but he says that's not that big of a deal, because, hey, if the Soul King has died by the enemy's hands, that sucks, but it's nothing we can do about it. We can't resurrect him, I guess. So in that situation, I guess we just have to defeat the enemy and then decide on a new Soul King. Me. Let's see here. I have an idea. Anyone that wants to be the new Soul Kings, please step forward. Oh, come on, Shunsui, I'm tied to a freaking chair here. Come on. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's try something else. Okay. Anyone that wants to be the new Soul King, please raise your right hand. Oh, you, Shunsui, you mother rapist, son of a soul-sucking whistler, mother of a merchant. What did I ever do to you guys? Oh, I get it. This is your revenge. Ha! Yes, and it's best served cold, you bastard. But anyway, guys, it's okay, because I swear on my best friend's grave that we've yet to dig yet, that I will stop Yuha and put an end to his Quincy scheming. So Shunsui succeeds in kind of boosting the morale for everybody, and they all chant, yes sir, let's go find Ichigo's group, let's go dethrone that motherfucker. But at the same exact time that goes down, of course, nothing goes as planned, right? I guess like Yuha even sensed like, oh hey, they're getting all riled up down there, they're starting to think they can do something, okay. So Yuha uses his powers to rise up a giant freaking castle with the Silburn on top. The Silburn being the original Ice Palace of the Quincy's that's on top of this massive thing. Kind of reminds me of like the DWMA from Soul Eater, just this massive monolith of a building. And hey, maybe Yuha was listening to all of their chant because I guess he's the Almighty and he's God now. I guess he could hear every conversation anywhere. He probably hears what they're thinking because Uruhara even says he's goading us in with this because the second we decided like, oh, let's go march off, this thing appears. So Uruhara's like, yeah, he's totally just, hey, come on, bro. Come on, we can do it. Come on, you can come in and beat my ass. Let's see if you can do it, man. Oh, well, I guess we should just oblige him and give him what they want. Jeez, did this turn into an action movie all of a sudden? It's like, okay, guys, we got a Quincy King at the top of that palace. He's killed God, so let's go take him out. Renji, take the AK-47s. Rukia, break out the RPGs. Shinji, do something with explosives. Wolverines! Alright, so last scene of the chapter, I guess we cut over to the top of that giant monolith thing where the Silburn is. I mean, it's no longer the Chrysalis Palace, of course, because that's just, I think, just a frozen out ruin that Yuha just kind of like threw aside like an apple core, and this is his new immaculate palace. But yeah, he basically is just sitting there on his throne, not really doing much of anything. Like, okay, Yuha, you won. You won. You're God now, okay? Well, what are you gonna do with this? Oh, I'm just gonna hang out in my crib, you know, pop open a Mountain Dew and, you know, just chill, bro. Just chill. Like, alright, if you're gonna do something with this absolute power, just, you know, the Seireite's still around down there. Shinigami are still around. Like, if you just wanted to be God, then you already won. Okay, end of series. But no, Hashwell just basically kneels before him and states that, oh, yeah, Ichigo and his group are here, and they're trespassing upon our territory in our Welt. Ah, yes, well, you see, this castle has become the foundation for a new world. The one true world. And from this day forth, it shall be known as the War-Welt. Which I think is just German for New World. So Yuha's name for his castle, which will signal in the New World, is just the name New World. Which I will admit, in German, that's a pretty cool name, but it's still basically just what that means in its New World. And that's the end of the chapter. Also, it looks like Yuha decided to trade in all of his Renegons and Sharingans and Geass eyes into that one big Cyclops eye, it looks like in this one scene. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. Sometimes Kubo likes to do this. He like ends the chapter with Yuha saying something really cool, like, I will dominate the Seireite and be their god. But that's not really a big cliffhanger. That's just Yuha's, you know, massive cock of an ego just kind of sneaking through and just be like, I will name this new castle War-Welt. This is a cliffhanger of the chapter. It's so epic that there you go, but whatever. Yeah, so this chapter, once again, didn't really deliver a lot on us. It just gave us, like, okay, Uruhara's group arrived in the Soul Palace. We kind of already knew that, though. That wasn't really a big deal, that they were going to arrive there. We got a little bit of information exactly on how the Quincy's now own the Soul Palace. Like, they manipulate the Reishi to their own will, so maybe only the Quincy's can control it. So, like I said, that might have problems. Maybe they can't use Keto or Flash Step or anything like that. They should still probably be able to use, like, their Zanpakuto abilities, because that's their power, basically. That's their own Ryatsu. They should be able to manipulate that. But barring that, they shouldn't. Well, I mean, I guess by that logic, they would be able to use Keto, but they haven't really used Keto much this entire freaking arc anyway, so I don't even know. Yeah, the series is going to be concluded by Keto. You know, Byakuya is just going to sneak up behind Yuha, grab his freaking hood, and just be like, Byakura, motherfucker. Wait, what? Just blow his freaking brains out like that. Now, I know you could just say, oh, well, the Quincy's can just absorb Keto, so using it would be completely irrelevant. It wouldn't have any effect on them whatsoever. You'd still think they would want to try that at least once. You know, like, okay, let me shoot a low-level Keto. I mean, even if they do absorb it, it's not going to give them that much more power. Let me just, you know, attempt this. But, you know, whatever. Yeah, I'm assuming next chapter then, I guess we're just going to get Ichigo's group meeting up with the Uehara's group, and I'm thinking next chapter all it's going to be is just, you know, their group meeting up and deciding on how they're going to take on the Quincy Multiplex Frat House Man Cave sponsored by Mountain Dew. You know, I don't see anything else beyond that, unless we get, like, a thing from the perspective of, like, Yuha and, you know, like, where the other Stern Ridders are doing and stuff like that, maybe what Uryu's doing, maybe he has the cool Prince Reserve throne room, I don't freaking know, but, yeah, probably just going to be something like that. Probably not going to be too in-depth next chapter either. I think we might be gearing up for like the final battle here, but that might not be for another, you know, couple chapters, maybe like 4 or 5 until we get them in like invading the palace, and it's like, oh, here's a room where you have to fight Harold Valkyrie. Here's a room where you got to fight Askin or something like that. I don't know. Maybe we might do it like that. But anyway, you know, all right, chapter. I guess it's average. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking101 signing out.
Once upon a time, in the year 1122, there lived a humble farmer who lived in a cottage with his wife on the outskirts of a small village. The couple lived a simple life, growing the crops and raising the livestock. However, one day the farmer's wife became quite sickly, and the farmer had to harvest all the wheat by himself. The farmer pleaded to the spirits that there must be a simpler way to harvest all the wheat. It was then that the Grim Reaper himself appeared and offered him a sickle forged from the metal as his own scythe. The scythe cut all the wheat in only 3 movements. However, the farmer soon became tortured by the lost souls contained in the scythe's metal, killing his wife with the scythe. The blood then seeped into the soil, and the resulting plant was a gnarled vine with a slight sticky texture that wrapped around the cottage and trapped them both inside forever. And that's where licorice comes from.